The roof is open at NRG Stadium. Beautiful day in Houston. Before we kick it off, let's send it downstairs. Check in with Jenny Dell. Jenny?
Well, Ryan Mallett spent the first 3 seasons of his career with a front row seat to learn from one of the league's best in Tom Brady. He said he looked up to Brady like an older brother, like a young child would try to emulate everything that his older brother did. And he learned 3 things from Brady in those observations: preparation, professionalism, and most importantly, how to lead a team. Guys?
Well, he led the team to a victory, Jenny, last week in Cleveland. Went 20 of 30, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in his first NFL start, the 3rd-round pick out of the 2011 draft. Houston won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, so Randy Bullock will kick it off. Adam Jones, leading the NFL in kick return average, just under 33 yards per return, is waiting for it. We're underway in Houston. Bullock end over end. And it is a touchback. Cincinnati will have it at the 20-yard line. Andy Dalton leading the Bengals offense onto the field. 0-3 against Houston in his career. 2 of those games, playoff games. He's averaged just 191 yards against the Texans. 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions.
And he knows how important it is to protect the ball today. Texans have 11 interceptions by 10 different guys, and they're great at stripping the ball out of the quarterback's hands in the pocket.
Bernard gets the start. Dalton throws on first down to A.J. Green. Matched up with A.J. Boye, the second-year corner out of Central Florida. 5-yard pickup, starting offense for Cincinnati. Andre Smith is back. He's missed the last couple of games with an ankle injury. Backs and receivers, Jermaine Gresham finally getting into the fold with 2 touchdowns, his first 2 touchdowns of the season last week. Handed off, Bernard, brought down, J.J. Watt. Limit him to a gain of 1. Defensively for Houston, Ryan Pickett, what a nice pickup he's turned out to be. The 14-year veteran helping in the run support. Brian Cushing missed a couple of games with a knee injury, returned with a bang last week in his performance against Cleveland. And Boye is someone that Cincinnati may look to pick on. Kareem Jackson out once again with a knee injury for Houston. Dime package here for the Texans. This is a 3rd and 4. Cincinnati was excellent on 3rd down last week in that 27-10 win in New Orleans. Gresham, he's got enough for a first down or not, depending upon where they spot the football. Had to get across the 30.
Just a little bit short. Gresham reached out to try to take the ball over the 30-yard line. This might be worth a challenge, but the officials called him about a half-yard shy. Boy, that's a first down. His foot, as he touches the out-of-bounds line, that ball clearly over the 30-yard line.
Cincinnati not going to question it.
Yes, they are. He just tossed the flag as you were saying that, Ian. Marvin Lewis got the flag out just in time.
So the timing of all this, coaches up in the booth, waiting for that replay. Yeah. They want to confirm what their instincts tell them.
Cincinnati is challenged.
Watch his left foot go out of bounds, but watch as he reaches with the left hand. The ball in the left hand, clearly over the 30-yard line.
Terry McCauley, our referee, they'll take a look at it. Will it be enough to overturn it?
After review, the ball crossed the sideline beyond the 30-yard line. It will be first down for Cincinnati. Cincinnati is not charged with a timeout.
So the early coach's challenge from Marvin Lewis pays off. Gresham had enough on the extension.
Well, and in the official's judgment, he was behind the play. He saw that left foot go out of bounds, but he did not have a clear shot at how far Gresham had reached that ball across the 30-yard line.
So this drive continues for the Bengals, now a 1st and 10 at the 30. Just underway here in the opening quarter. Ryan Hewitt in the backfield. Play action. Dalton steps up. Dalton dumps it off. Giovanni Bernard back in the lineup. Catch and run of 8 yards for Bernard. Missed the last 3 games. A hip pointer and clavicle injury.
His 23rd catch of the year. That's where he's so dangerous. Is out in space, and they have a real nice 1-2 punch now with a healthy Bernard and a surprising Jeremy Hill.
Jeremy Hill stepped forward in the absence of Bernard. Had a huge effort last week going back near his hometown. Jared Crick and J.J. Watt collaborating on the inside.
Watch Watt beat the guard there, Kevin Zeitler, and his quickness to get onto Bernard. That was good penetration all along that defensive front for Houston.
Watt and Zeitler, former college teammates at Wisconsin and very close friends. They work out during the offseason. Watt had a week to remember in the 23-7 win in Cleveland. Bernard, nothing there. Needed two. Didn't get it. Tim Jamison in on that stop for Houston, and the Cincinnati drive stalls.
That was a surprising play selection by Hugh Jackson, offensive coordinator. The read option on 3rd and short, and the Texans were all over Bernard when he got the ball from Dalton.
Keyshawn Martin, the return man. Kevin Huber, who's averaging 47.4 yards per punt. Martin averaging just under 6 yards per return. Backpedaling, looking into the sun with the roof open here in Houston. It's a 51-yard punt and a fair catch called for. Ryan Mallett, his second NFL start, gets underway when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
Back in Houston, Ryan Mallett, originally from Arkansas, played high school football in Texarkana, Texas. So he's got a little bit of both. First and 10, just shy of the 9-yard line for Houston. First possession for the Texans. Handoff to Alfred Blue. Picks up 2 yards, trying to cut it to the outside. Starting offense for Houston. Bill O'Brien said the best performance from the offensive line all season last week. Dwayne Brown a part of that in that victory over Cleveland. Backs and receivers, Garrett Graham getting into the end zone for the first time last week on a pass from Mallett. Arian Foster sitting this one out with a groin injury, missing his 3rd game of the season. Give it to Blue. Squeezes through that hole, but only picks up 2 on the play. Domata Peko makes the stop for Cincinnati. Defensive line, Carlos Dunlap leading the team in sacks with 4.5 this season. Linebackers, Emmanuel Lemur surprising and leading the team in tackles. That's because of injuries to Malaluga and Burfict. Malaluga is back. And Terrence Newman returns. Newman was inactive last week with a knee injury. Cincinnati enters action at 6-3-1 on the season. First place in the AFC North by percentage points over Pittsburgh. Mallett will let it fly for the first time. Intercepted! It's Newman. Penalty marker thrown at the 28-yard line. Andre Johnson, the intended receiver, fell down on the play.
Yeah, but was he tripped by Newman, and that's going to be the call against Newman.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. Automatic first down.
A lot of times when you see a receiver trip, it's because the feet get tangled up with the defensive back. We'll take a look. At the very end of that, you can see that Johnson throwing his arms up in the air, saying he was interfered with.
It's a 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10 out across the 25. Draw play. Blue. Blue keeps the legs churning. 9-yard pickup for the rookie out of LSU.
Good job with Ben Jones. Little double team here with the center, Chris Myers. And Blue will cut off this double team. Look at that huge hole there. Malaluga a little bit late, misses the tackle, and it's a 9-yard gain for Blue.
Houston working quickly. Mallett will take that 6'6" frame for a 2-yard pickup. He was actually 6'4" in the 8th grade. So if you're just going off of 8th grade to now, he hasn't really grown that much.
Well, I had to get on my tiptoes to look at him eye to eye yesterday.
He's a big guy.
At least, I think he's 6'9" or 10 right now.
Whoa, really?
He's a big boy.
First down for Houston. 2 tight ends in this formation, and Blue has nowhere to go. 1-yard gain. Vincent Ray sniffed it out. Ray has stepped in for the injured Vontez Burfict.
When I asked Mallett yesterday what would be his final thoughts about today's game when his head hit the pillow last night, he didn't hesitate to say 3rd downs. The Texans, they got to improve their efficiency on 3rd down. They got a benefit of that pass interference on Terrence Newman.
58 180.
Garrett Graham sets up in the backfield. Blue will shift out of it. Mallett will throw. Second and long, out of the pocket. Mallett looks downfield. Incomplete. Trying to find the veteran Andre Johnson. Geno Atkins put the heat on Mallett.
And you could hear teammates on the sideline saying, throw it away. Well, he doesn't throw it away. He thinks he can get it into Andre Johnson, who again slips and is down on the ground and misses this one by inches. Dangerous throw by Mallett.
Talk to the Texans about Mallett. They mentioned his leadership in the huddle, knows the offense inside and out. Garrett Graham worked with him a great deal after practice in the weeks leading up to his first start, so felt chemistry with him. 3rd and 9. Mallett avoids it, throws. It's complete. Andre Johnson. Johnson now 9th on the all-time receptions list as he passes Randy Moss.
Well, look how strong Mallett is as Dunlap comes in, tries to wrap him up, but he steps up into the calm spot of the pocket and fires a rocket to Andre Johnson. Now, what is the injury to Adam Jones there as Johnson came down, looked like right on his right leg, and Jones still down after that 14-yard gain.
Not only affects the defense, but special teams as well for Cincinnati. They're checking on Adam Jones. We'll step aside. Next up on the hit list for Andre Johnson is Hines Ward. He's 17 catches away as Johnson continues to climb both receptions and yardage list in his career. Adam Jones able to walk off on his own. They were checking on the left knee of Jones after the hit. Damaris Johnson in as a 3rd receiver now for Houston. Jonathan Grimes is in the backfield. Swing it out. Too high for Grimes. Mallett could not get it to him cleanly. Incomplete. Get the fastest football scores and updates with the CBS Sports app, the fastest app for sports fans. Download the CBS Sports app now.
That was real close to being a backwards pass. The official right on the spot ruling that it was not, and lucky for Mallett, but he missed a wide open Grimes.
Mallett, swing it out. Damaris Johnson, a former Eagle, gets drilled by Brandon Thompson. 4-yard gain. Let's head to New York. JB, Bart Scott, NFL Today update.
Philly is tough at home.
I tell you what, they're getting off to a fast start. You're going to see Darren Sproles take it left for the touchdown. After review, the play stands. Philadelphia up 14-0.
That was after a 107-yard return for a score. Back to you guys.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Mark Sanchez trying to establish himself as the starter in Philadelphia. Ryan Mallett trying to do the same, the quarterback for Houston. 10th play of the drive. Mallett throws too high. Over the head of Andre Johnson, the veteran Newman there to battle with him. Both came out in the 2003 draft. Newman was the number 5 overall pick. Johnson was the number 3 pick. And it's 4th down for the Texans.
It surprised me they didn't go after Adam Jones, who came back in the lineup. And here you got a guy that had to be helped off the field, and the Texans decide to go to the opposite side of the field against Newman.
And they're using Brandon Tate as the return man. Shane Leckler, the punter. Leckler placing it down to the 5, and that's where Tate hauls it in. It's a 37-yard punt. Leckler continues to excel. No score in the first.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. And by TD Ameritrade.
Aerial coverage of today's game provided by MetLife. Temperature in the 70s here in Houston. Cincinnati takes over with a 1st and 10. Ball is at the 6. Jeremy Hill gets the call and picks up 2 yards on the play. Andy Dalton, it's kind of been all or nothing or nothing at all the last couple of weeks against Cleveland on that Thursday night. Couldn't get anything going, and then last week at New Orleans, Dalton put together one of the best games of his career.
I'm just glad they didn't have that passer rating when I was playing.
Yeah, they didn't have that in the 70s and 80s.
I had a few 2 games. That's not good.
2nd and 7 here for Cincinnati. Shotgun for Dalton. Dalton knocked down.
Guess who?
J.J. Watt denied.
Now, first of all, he's 6'5", maybe 6'6", real long arm span and athletic ability. Blocked that one with his elbow. That's how high he gets up in the air. Good job by Andre Smith. But JJ says nay, nay.
That rhymes. Romeo Cornell in his 32nd year in the NFL. 5 Super Bowl rings as an assistant coach. Andre Smith, who's missed the last couple of weeks, shaken up on the play. Marshall Newhouse, who had stepped in for him as the starter, is ready to go.
Hey, he was doing a good job on Watt, keeping Watt away from Dalton. But nobody does it better than JJ. You can see that in a number of categories this season.
J.J. Watt had a touchdown catch last week, his 4th touchdown of the season. First defensive lineman with 4 touchdowns since 1948. Ray Poole of the Giants and Jack Zilli of the Rams. Smith heads to the Cincinnati sideline. Newhouse in for him. James Wright is in as the 3rd receiver. Giovanni Bernard is back on a 3rd and 7. Under 7 minutes to play in this first quarter. Dalton, clean pocket. He connects with Sanu. First down, Bengals. Quiets the crowd. It's a 10-yard pickup for Cincinnati.
Great job by Sanu, knowing what he needed for the first down as he comes on a little slant route here. And now he's going to split the defenders and lunge forward. Surprising that they didn't help out Newhouse here with a chip by Bernard. Bernard was on the other side of the formation.
Sanu is on pace for a 70-catch, 1,073-yard season. Bernard, the spin move. Giovanni Bernard, tough to bring down. Slippery as he crosses the 35. 18-yard pickup. Russell Bodine, the rookie out of North Carolina, with a key block up front.
Well, Ryan Hewitt is the fullback here, and the Bengals going with a offset line, unbalanced line. Good job again. There's Zeitler there on Cushing, and that's what they want to do, is get this man to make those moves.
Now it's Jeremy Hill rotated in. Hill slicing through for a first down out across midfield, using Bowling and Bodine to a 14-yard pickup for Hill.
Well, 152 yards last week in the big win at New Orleans, averaging 5.5 yards a carry, and this offensive line starting to impose their will on the Texans.
On a pitch, it's Hill turning it upfield. Remember, LSU had Hill and Bloom last year. Now Hill's a member of the Bengals, and the 1-2 punch is Hill and Bernard for Cincinnati.
This is exactly the type of situation you need in the NFL now, is a couple of running backs like Hill and Bernard. Power runner and a good runner in space, as is Bernard.
2nd and 6 now from the 45. Hewitt sets up as a receiver now for Cincinnati. Bengals are on the move in Houston territory. Dalton, plenty of time, out of the pocket. Dalton looking downfield, throw, sideline, incomplete. In the area of James Wright, penalty marker is thrown at the 28 of Houston.
Going to be holding in the secondary.
Illegal contact, defense number 50. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Going to get a keen dent for the illegal contact.
An injury for Houston. Jared Crick is down. He's been one of those unsung players on defense. Bill O'Brien talked about the competition. J.J. Watt's the only one that's got his position nailed down. He says basically the playing time's up for grabs, and it's based on what they see in practice and obviously how it translates on Sundays.
Well, it keeps everybody sharp. It gets them ready to play each and every day. And you've got to be able to improve every day, or somebody else is going to take your spot.
The update on Andre Smith, it's a left arm injury. He is not expected to return for Cincinnati, so a brief return for Andre Smith, and Marshall Newhouse is right back in there at that right tackle spot. Jeffrey Pagan slides in to replace Crick. Pagan's the rookie out of Alabama. First down after the penalty, now at the Houston 40-yard line. Dalton is 4 out of 5. Dalton sniffed out by Swearinger. It's a loss of 2 on the play on the option. Back to New York. JB, Bart Scott.
Been a long time, Julio.
Yes, it has. Matt Ryan's going to find Julio Jones for his first touchdown catch since week 3. Atlanta up 7-0.
Back to Ian, Dan, and Jenny.
Well, the NFC South, someone will emerge in that division with a playoff spot.
It is really south, isn't it?
2nd and 12 now for the Bengals. Shotgun for Dalton. They get 4 minutes to play in the first. A.J. Green. Honest gain for Green. Not enough for a first down. Picks up 10 yards. A.J. Boye giving him some cushion.
Yeah, it's about an 8-yard cushion here. And then the length of Green there with that stiff arm gets him an extra yard or 2.
Green dealing with turf toe. He told us, though, it's the good kind of turf toe. Tissue and tendon issue. I didn't realize there was a good kind and a bad kind.
Well, you've got 10 toes. I guess there's more than just 2.
Gets a special tape job every day.
Wow, talk about special. How about that catch?
A.J. Green, 10 yards. Again, working against Boye, and Dalton with a strike.
That's 3 catches now for Green. Boye couldn't be any closer, could he? But he never located the ball. That's good timing between quarterback and wide receiver. Again, the ability with those long arms and strong hands to catch the ball away from your body and away from the defender.
Now the one downside with the roof being open here, battling the shade of the sun in this area of the field. Bernard through a lane. Hit by Akeem Dent, 4-yard gain for Bernard. So it's been a nice mix here for Cincinnati, trying to get on the board with under 3 minutes to play in the first.
This is what you're talking about. You look at the shadows on the officials. You can see they're a direct line to where the defenders are looking at Dalton when he's back throwing, and also the kick returners may have problems.
11th play of the drive. Cincinnati is in the red zone. Give it to Bernard again. Dances across the 15, met by Jared Crick, who returned 2 plays earlier, and it's a 4-yard pickup for Bernard. Hugh Jackson pushing the buttons right now on offense for Cincinnati.
And this is a young offense. Jeremy Hill talking about the nucleus. They know they have a chance to be a very special team for a number of years when you look at Green being in his 4th year and Dalton in his 4th, Bernard just in his 2nd.
Throws Sanu in there. He's a 3rd-year player. Gresham is only in his 5th year. He's the veteran. 3rd and 2. 4 receivers set. Dalton on a line. He connects. And a Dalton to A.J. Green for 7. It'll be 1st and goal for Cincinnati.
But again, a lot of cushion by these defensive backs for the Texans, just giving up so much room. Jonathan Joseph never even got in on the tackle of A.J. Green. That's 4 catches now for 32 yards, and we're still in the first quarter for Green.
1st and goal from the 6. 2 tight ends in this formation. Bernard by himself in the backfield. Dalton throw it out to Sanu. Sanu driving for the touchdown. Mohamed Sanu, too physical. A.J. Boye could not stop him. Cincinnati on the board first.
Yeah, I think Dalton saw how far off Boye was playing and just decided to heck with the run play. Going to get it out to the 6'2", 210 Mohamed Sanu, and he's going to overpower Boye to the end zone. What a drive. 94 yards in 13 plays. Dalton with a hot hand and taking advantage of some real loose coverage in the Texans secondary.
So Bill O'Brien's squad will be down 7-0 after the Legion extra point. 1:19 remaining in the first. Mohamed Sanu. It's been a breakout year for Sanu, and he breaks out some moves after the touchdown for Cincinnati. Fifth touchdown of the season for Mohamed Sanu on the receiving end. Caps off that 13-play, 94-yard drive. Dalton was terrific, 5 of 6 for 43 yards in the touchdown. Back in the Houston area, he's from Katy, Texas, about 35 miles away from NRG Stadium. Cincinnati with a 7-0 lead, 1:19 to play in the first. The veteran Danielle Manning is the return man, averaging 20.6 yards per return. Mike Nugent kicks it off. Looking into the sun, Manning backpedals. And a touchback. Thursday night football returns in 2 weeks. Tony Romo and the Cowboys take on the Bears. Two of the NFL's greatest franchises meet in primetime. It's Thursday night football, returning Thursday, December 4th, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. Houston Texans enter action 1 game behind Indianapolis in the AFC South. They had lost 4 of their previous 5 before last week's win against the Browns. Alfred Blue bangs his way to the 26-yard line, hit by Brandon Thompson and George Iloka, the Houston native. 6-yard gain for Blue.
And Blue told us that the biggest thing that Arian Foster helped him with is patience on that zone run. You saw it that time. He let the blocking develop before he made his cut.
2 tight ends, Graham and Fedorowicz. Blue, a blast up the middle, and he gets blasted. Maualuga, Marvin Lewis telling us that Maualuga's return has just calmed everything down on defense. He's able to get guys organized. He's a physical playmaker described by Lewis, and you saw it on that play.
Well, he's a 6-year veteran, and the other linebackers he is working with, Lemur and Perfect when he's healthy, and Ray, don't have that experience. They need that from the middle linebacker.
Maualuga missed 4 games with a hamstring injury. Houston trying to avoid a 3-and-out here. This is a 3rd and 4. Mallett pats the ball, nearly intercepted by Adam Jones. Texans will punt.
Now the Bengals doing a good job of making Mallett uncomfortable, and with tight coverage, you see the difference between the way the Bengals are playing in the secondary. Adam Jones, he picks that off, he scores with it, and he knows it. A lot tighter coverage by the Bengals defensive backs than the Texans right now.
Punt from Leckler. Jones averaging 14.4 yards per return. Pedals from the 17, turns it upfield. Flag thrown. Jones getting to the outside and pushed out of bounds at the 46-yard line, but 2 penalty markers, one at the 28, the other at the 20. As time runs out in this first quarter. 56-yard punt, a 29-yard return.
And the Bengals will be backed up to start this next drive because of those 2 flags.
Terry McCauley sorting it out. McCauley indicating penalty on each team.
Illegal use of hands to the face, kicking team number 35. Illegal block in the back during the return, receiving team number 52. The penalties offset at the spot of the receiving team's foul. First down, timeout. That is the end of the first quarter.
Eddie Pleasant, Nico Johnson, the guilty parties, as we end the first in Houston. 7-0, the Cincinnati Bengals in front. We'll come back to NRG Stadium after these messages. This is the NFL on CBS. Cincinnati Bengals, defending champions in the AFC North. They have never won back-to-back division titles in franchise history. 11-5 last year. They enter action at 6-3-1. Second of 3 straight games on the road. They will be at Tampa Bay next week. After the offsetting penalties, they placed the ball at the 20-yard line for Cincinnati. Got a 7-0 lead on Houston. Start of the second quarter. And off to Hill. He's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Crick, part of that group.
And the reason the ball's at the 20 to start this drive is that offsetting penalties, it's the option of the receiving team to either re-kick the ball or take it where it was. And with Leckler being one of the all-time great punters, Marvin Lewis says, hey, 20-yard line's pretty good. We'll take it there.
Second quarter, Cincinnati has fared well this season, outscoring their opponents 63-32. Just underway in the second. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Jenny Dell, the rest of our CBS crew. Dalton out of the gun, he'll throw it. Giovanni Bernard already having an impact in his return. Bernard, excellent hands, 13 yards on the catch and run.
Yeah, he's got 6 carries, and now he's got a couple of receptions. But look at the space that he has after the catch. Difficult catch, but quickly gets turned upfield and picks up a first down. Bernard looks good.
6 straight completions now for Andy Dalton. Once again, they'll go empty. 9 first downs for the Bengals in this first half. Shotgun. Dalton gets rid of it quickly. The curl. A.J. Green carrying a defender with him, Darryl Morris. It's a first down into Houston territory, covering 20 yards. JB, Bart Scott in New York.
Josh Gordon's 22-yard reception sets this up.
Yes, he sets Isaiah Correll up, who's going to take it in for the 11-yard score, his 6th rushing TD of the year. All knotted up at 7-all.
Into the second quarter, Ian and Dan.
Well, Cleveland, that loss to Houston last week, guys. Ben Tate going against his former team was ineffective, then released during the week, eventually picked up off of waivers by Minnesota. They're believing in the rookies at the running back spot. Crowell and West handed off to another rookie, Jeremy Hill. He is tough to tackle. 9-yard pickup. Brian Cushing finally brings him down.
He's got huge legs. He kind of reminds me of the great Earl Campbell at times. Because of effort like this, he's 238 pounds, and he's dragging Brian Cushing down the field.
We asked him who did he look up to as he was coming through the ranks in high school. He said Arian Foster and Matt Forte. Those were the 2 running backs that he really keyed in on and emulated. Hill for a 2-yard pickup. J.J. Watt in on that stop for the Texans.
Now Watt in on the tackle, but not before Hill can pick up another first down. Watch 99 working on Newhouse. Just discards Newhouse. Newhouse jumps on his back.
Cincinnati is punishing Houston inside with the run. Dalton throws, hauled in by Sanu. Jonathan Joseph, the former Bengal, dealing with Sanu out on the perimeter.
The pace here is just absolutely perfect for Cincinnati. It's almost like in a baseball game when a pitcher works fast, the defense gets better. Well, the reaction of the receivers, we've seen 2 really good catches on this drive. First by Bernard, and that time by Sanu. 8 straight completions for Dalton. Talk about a hot hand. He's got it.
Big part of the focus for Hugh Jackson with Andy Dalton has been get rid of the ball quickly.
Yeah, he's only been sacked 12 times all year.
First down for Cincinnati inside the Houston 25. They've already got a 7-0 lead. And the whistle stops play as a timeout was called. So timeout Bengals. Stops the clock with 11:25 left in this first half. They've got a 7-0 advantage on the Houston Texans. Cincinnati looking for more. Trying to build some consistency here in the 2014 season. Cincinnati has run twice as many plays as Houston in this first half, and now offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson is looking for more. It's a 7-0 score. Cincinnati in front. Timeout called, and now a 1st and 10 at the 24 of Houston. Working against Romeo Crennel's defense that enters action ranked 30th overall in team defense, but 8th in points allowed. The bend but don't break mentality. Dalton with a deep drop. He'll throw to A.J. Green. Spun out of bounds. Penalty marker dropped at the 14-yard line. It's another first down if it stands for the Bengals. 15 yards.
And now concerned with the Bengals with a pass rush.
Illegal contact. Defense number 24. Penalties decline. First down.
He kept 8 blockers in to protect Dalton. Just sent out Green and Sanu. And the Texans couldn't stop it. But here's the penalty. Jonathan Joseph grabbing the back of the jersey. And on the other side, against a double team, A.J. Green found a way to pick up his 6th catch here in the first half.
9th straight completion for Andy Dalton. First and goal from the 9. Bengals looking to add to their lead. It's a pitch. Bernard accelerates. No running rate to speak of. It's a 1-yard pickup. Jeffrey Hagan over there defensively.
The Bengals have had real good balance in their offense. On that 13-play drive, they had 7 runs and 6 passes. This is a drive that started back on their 20, coming up as their 9th play of the drive, but 4 runs and 4 passes. So Marvin Lewis has to be happy with the way Hugh Jackson's calling this game and the way his offense is executing the plan.
We apologize for the language that we picked up on the field. Dalton can't handle the snap, picks it up, and heads up just a gain 2 yards on the play. Down to the 6-yard line of Houston.
Well, it looked like a good snap. Look, you can see Dalton took his eyes off it. You know where he was looking?
J.J. Watt.
Yes, he was. He was looking for number 99. That was a real good snap by the rookie Russell Bodine.
Third and goal for the Bengals. 182 total yards for Cincinnati. Dalton. A.J. Green could not take it the distance. Now what do you do if you're Cincinnati?
Well, they're going to figure out what's wrong with Newhouse. He's down. And remember, Newhouse is taking the place of Andre Smith, who will not return. This is a major concern for the Bengals, especially when you consider who Newhouse and Andre Smith were responsible for blocking most of the day, and J.J. Watt.
Medical staff is out checking on Marshall Newhouse. Signed as a free agent this year. Does give Marvin Lewis some time to ponder his possibilities here. Andre Smith has already left the game with a left arm injury.
And he's got T.J. Johnson and Mike Pollock, and that's it.
Newhouse is still on his knees.
Well, working against J.J. Watt. There's the swim move. Good job by Zeitler coming over and pinning Watt to the inside, but
and Newhouse is up. And now the question, what do you do on 4th and goal, Dan?
if I'm Cincinnati, I'm going to kick this field goal and continue the momentum of scoring points. And it appears that Marvin Lewis has a different idea as he sends out the offense.
Mike Pollock is in.
You know, that last play to A.J. Green was the same type of play they scored on with Sanu. And with Green and Sanu, both tall receivers, they're a good choice on the fade route against smaller defensive backs.
It is 4th and goal from the 1. Fade. A.J. Green out of bounds. Darryl Morris there defensively. And Cincinnati, no points.
Now Morris is 5'10", Green at 6'4". But Morris does a good job of forcing him all the way to the sideline. And he comes down left foot out of bounds, no touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new LG G3, the world's first smartphone with laser autofocus. Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by the all-new 2015 Honda Fit. The new Fit is a great fit for you.
Texans take over after Cincinnati comes up empty on 4th and goal from the 1. 9:02 remaining in the first half. 7-0 lead for the Bengals. Alfred Proof filling in for the injured Arian Foster out with a groin injury. Can't get out of the end zone. It's a safety. The Houston Texans can't get out of their own way.
Well, Cincinnati knew this play was coming. Watch the middle linebacker, Maaluga. And back in the end zone. Blue cannot get out there, a two-pointer, but look at Ma'aluga shoot the gap here and push the center Myers back into the running back.
Blue and Foster having a conversation on the Houston sideline. It's the second Cincinnati safety in its last 4 games. Had one week 9 against Jacksonville. Free kick from Leckler. Jones and Tate are deep. Brandon Tate on the return. Driven down at the 37-yard line by Grimes on special teams. Houston came away with the ball. The play was whistled dead. Thursday on CBS, a new discovery could expose the madness behind Sherlock Holmes' methods. Don't miss a surprising new Elementary. That's Thursday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS.
Huge advantage in time of possession because of these long drives by Cincinnati. Bengals have had the ball 10 more minutes than the Texans.
The offense for Houston was reignited last week with Mallett. That has not been the case so far today. 9-0 lead for the Bengals. Quick hitter. It is A.J. Green.
Now Andy Dalton has totally negated the Texan pass rush by being decisive in his reads and taking advantage of loose play in the Texan secondary. He's now 14 of 16 for 132 yards. And J.J. Watt and company nowhere near him so far in his first half.
Dan Marshall-Newhouse got poked in the eye. And Newhouse is back in there now for Cincinnati. Give it to Jeremy Hill. Second effort. Forward progress will get him a half a yard on the play. Brooks Reed in on that stop.
Yeah, both linebackers, Reed and Brian Cushing that time, pressing the line of scrimmage and giving Hill nowhere to go.
So now it's a 3rd and 4 for Cincinnati. Dalton is 14 of 16, 132 yards and a touchdown. Green has 8 catches for 78 yards. Sanu has a touchdown grab. Hill sets up to the side of Dalton. Sanu, the motion man. On 3rd and 4. They handle Watt. Dalton trying to run for it. He's tripped and comes up a yard shy. Swearinger just put an end to the drive.
Great play by Swearinger because Dalton had a lot of room to run if he could get away from Swearinger. Good job by Newhouse running Watt behind the pocket. With that diving tackle there, you can see there's nobody in front of Dalton.
Return man is Keyshawn Martin. Just keep your eye on a possible fake here because Cedric Pierman is lined up. He'll just protect there for Huber. Sailing kick. No fair catch called for, and Martin was able to pick up 4 yards on the return after the 42-yard punt. Darquez Denard with a tackle. 9-0 Cincinnati.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
With NFL Mobile, stream live, local Sunday afternoon, primetime games, and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile. Houston has been limited to 39 yards of offense in this first half. Blue gets crushed in the backfield. It's Gilberry and Dunlap for a loss.
Yeah, make that 38 yards here in the first half. The quickness of the Bengals is, again, they slant right to where the Texans are trying to run the ball. That's back-to-back plays. It seems like their defense knows which direction the Texans are going to run the ball.
And that long drive to open up, but nothing to show for it. Now the pump and throw, and it's too high. C.J. Fedorowicz, the intended receiver, and a late flag at the 23.
They may get Leon Hall.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense number 59. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now, part of the connection for Mallett was the relationship with Bill O'Brien going back to their New England days, but also this man, quarterback coach George Godsey, was an offensive assistant on that New England staff during Mallett's rookie year. First down at the 19. Alfred Blue. Texans came in number 3 in the NFL in rushing, 144.6 yards per game. Wallace Gilberry making that stop. Blue's father, Alfred Blue Jr., so Alfred Blue on the Texans is Alfred Blue III. He has never missed a game. Going back to high school, home and away, he's been at every one of his son's games throughout high school, at LSU, and here with the Texans as well.
It's awesome.
Play action. Mallett has the time. He throws to Blue. Gets out of trouble, and Blue picks up a first down, 11 yards.
Yeah, he broke the tackle of the Bengals' leading tacklers in Lemur. Does not have the first down here, but he has to get it out of that tackle to pick up the first down, and he did. Much needed play.
Line of scrimmage is now the 31, trying to find a rhythm. Mallett throws. First time Hopkins has caught a ball. Spun down across the 40-yard line. That's an 11-yard hookup hit by Reggie Nelson, the safety.
And that's what Mallett did so well last week, is getting the ball out of his hand quicker. Last 2 plays, no hesitation.
Again, Hopkins the juggle and catch. It's a clean grab for 4 yards. Lemur, the former collegiate safety, makes the stop.
And these are confidence-building throws for Mallett, something he needed after a 2-6 start to this game.
This is a 2nd and 6 now for Houston. We're down to 4.5 remaining in this first half. Jonathan Grimes, the single setback. Mallett, toss it underneath. Hopkins hit hard, holds on to the ball. Lemur with the stick. And a flag down. We asked Lemur about his defense, and he said, "We're smart bullies." That was his description of the Cincinnati D.
Now, this may not have been a smart play, though.
There's no foul for unnecessary roughness.
Well, apparently it was just on the border, the good side of the border for Lemur. Fans don't like it as they look at the big screen here.
Have you ever heard fans, though, collectively just say, "Yeah, I agree. Good call," when they play it on the big screen?
No, I haven't. I got to be honest with you. That would be a first.
So he got hit down low by Hall and then up high by Lemur. It's 3rd and 3 for Houston. Mallett, deep drop, throws. He's got Hopkins, first down into Cincinnati territory. Matched up with Hall.
And because of his high release, he's got a clear throwing lane. You can see that he's eyeballing his receiver, and the velocity that the ball gets to the receivers before the defensive back, in that case Leon Hall, can react. 4 straight completions to Hopkins.
Mallett and Dalton were in that same draft, 2011. Dalton, a 2nd-round pick. Mallett, a 3rd-round pick of New England. And a dump off. Didn't have to touch Alfred Blue, the intended receiver. Carlos Dunlap with a hit on Mallett. They're about the same height.
I think that's the key for Mallett, and his touch. And right now, when you got these big, strong-arm quarterbacks, that's the last thing that they develop.
2nd and 10 here for Houston. Finally have something going on offense. Blue up the middle. Another big hit by Lemur. Will Clark, first man in. Geno Atkins there defensively as well. It's a 2-yard gain. Andy Dalton, 14 of 16, 132 yards and a touchdown to lead Cincinnati. They've got a 9-0 advantage on Houston. 10th play of the drive for the Texans. Throw it out to Damaris Johnson. Johnson across the 30-yard line. Short of a first down, 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, it's going to be decision time now. They're going to go for it quickly.
On 4th down, Jonathan Grimes spins his way for a first down. Houston knew exactly what they wanted to do And that was Brady-esque in the way that Mallett got his team set up.
It really was. You can see the influence of O'Brien bringing that New England style of up-tempo. Perfect time to do it. Perfect execution, too.
And they keep the tempo moving here. Timeout, Cincinnati. Stops the clock with 2:12 to play. Second quarter. 9-0 Cincinnati. Houston is threatening.
That's a smart timeout, too, by Marvin Lewis. It's a little warm here today. You know, the Bengals had to go indoors this week to practice at the University of Cincinnati this week. And you can see they're dragging a little bit on this drive because of the tempo that Mallett and the Texans are using.
Now, Ryan Mallett, you have to keep things in context here. It's just his second NFL start. These are all new experiences.
Mallett disappointed that he couldn't get that play run before the Bengals called timeout.
We asked him what's been different. He said, really the only thing that's been different is I'm getting a chance to play. My preparation has been the same, but then you pressed him a bit. He said, okay, there is a little more sense of urgency when you're the starting quarterback.
And budgeting your time as a starting quarterback is totally different. And now the Texans jump off sides. Derek Newton.
False start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that coming off a timeout, the false start against Houston. Clock remains at 2:12 left in this first half.
You can see the eyes in the huddle there, very engaged. This is definitely going to be a pass play if you looked at DeAndre Hopkins' eyes.
Now it's a draw. Alfred Blue. Knocked down at the 18-yard line by Vincent Ray. 9-yard pickup for Blue, and Ray is down as we hit the 2-minute warning. Former practice squad member in his 4th year from Duke. We break away with 2 minutes to play in the second. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Next man up mentality for Cincinnati. They've had it all year at that linebacker position, and they'll have to employ it once again. Vincent Ray shaken up on the play. Marquise Flowers, the rookie out of Arizona, will step in for Ray, who had been playing for Vontaze Burfict.
He looks like it might be a right shoulder injury as Blue hit him right on the shoulder. It took a long time for Ray to feel strong enough to even get this far, barely getting to the sideline now.
And Lemur has not been 100% after the torn labrum last year put him on IR. 13th play of the drive. Andre Johnson breaks away and takes a big hit. Lemur is throwing his body around. No gain on the pass. 1:53 left, first half.
Yeah, but Johnson's strength keeps this from being about a 5-yard loss, as he pulls away from Reggie Nelson there and then gets punished along the sideline.
Houston now facing a 3rd and 6 on the play. Jonathan Grimes in the backfield. 4 receiver set. Under 2 minutes left in the second quarter. 9-0 advantage for Cincinnati. Mallett throws. Offline. Looking for Andre Johnson. Terrence Newman there defensively. And the field goal unit will come on with Randy Bullock.
That shows you how fine this passing game has to be. Off the fingertips of Andre Johnson. Mallett knew he had a first down if he could get that one on target.
9 of 15 Mallett for 66 yards. This is a 36-yard attempt for Bullock. Trying to get Houston on the board. He knocks it through. 9-3 Bengals. 1:45 left. Cincinnati will have some time to work with before we hit the break. People affected by severe weather and other disasters need help now. To support those impacted by disasters like the winter storms in Buffalo and countless other crises, text Red Cross to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Disaster Relief. CBS cares. Here in Houston, Ryan Mallett and the Texans down 9-3 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Critical game just look at the way things are stacking up in the AFC. Cincinnati's in first place in the AFC North. They could be in last place in the AFC North, depending upon how things shake out this weekend. Kick from Bullock to Jones. But a win for Cincinnati would keep them in first place. Houston trying to go over the 500 mark with J.J. Watt leading this defense.
Well, let's show you his afternoon so far. Well, he's been triple teamed at times. And if you single block him, he's going to chase down the ball carrier. And his specialty, though, is doing this. Nobody does it better. Deflecting passes at the line of scrimmage than J.J. Watt.
January 1st, 2012, that playoff game against Cincinnati, a phenomenal effort by J.J. Watt, which opened the eyes of everybody around the NFL. It had a good rookie season, but that took it to another level. A.J. Green zigzagging his way out across the 30-yard line. We have 90 seconds to play in the first half. It's an 11-yard catch and run. Tim Jamison ranging over to make the stop.
Yeah, 9 catches for 90 yards now. And Dalton told us yesterday it was important to get A.J. back in rhythm. Well, mission accomplished.
Marvin Lewis saying that Green is running well. He looks like himself. He's been so determined. The injury was so difficult on him. He didn't even know what to do during pregame warm-ups. He'd line up with his teammates. Dalton throwing to Gresham, caught 2 touchdowns last week in the victory over New Orleans. Danielle Manning, the veteran, with a tackle. It's an 8-yard gain. So Cincinnati trying to squeeze some points out here before halftime. 48 seconds left. The Bengals have 1 timeout to work with.
Second catch for Gresham in the first half. 16 of 18 now for Dalton.
Second and 3. Cincinnati using a lot of time here. 30 seconds to play.
And just 1 timeout.
Watt pointing to the Cincinnati offense as Watt flings Andy Dalton like a doll.
False start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Don't forget, Verizon Halftime Report is next. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower, NFL scores, highlights, all coming up. Verizon Halftime Report. So back it up.
Yeah, I think because the Bengals only had 1 timeout, that it's changed their attack mode just a bit. Talked about all the time that went off the clock there. Now they're backed up at 2nd and 8.
False start. Please set the game clock to 14 seconds.
Now a 10-second runoff after an offensive penalty this point of the game. I wonder if Dalton realizes that. Might be time here just to take a knee, go to the halftime with a 6-point lead.
They'll work out of the gun. Texans are coming defensively. Dalton gets out of the pocket and runs out of bounds with 4 seconds remaining on the clock.
But again, the concern for this pass rush has the Bengals blocking up 8 guys and just sending their 2 wide receivers down the field. Obviously nowhere for Dalton to go as both receivers doubled and triple teamed.
A.J. Green nearly cracks 100 yards in the first half. Dalton with excellent numbers, 16 of 18, 151 yards and a touchdown. And the final play is a knee from Dalton.
Well, Marvin Lewis called timeout.
So they'll put time on the clock. 9-3, Cincinnati. Cincinnati out of timeouts. 4 seconds remaining in the first half. 3rd and 6 for the Bengals. Dalton will take his time, then take the knee, trying to avoid Houston calling a timeout. And that'll do it for the first half. Cincinnati 9, Houston 3. At the break, the Texans will receive the second half kickoff, and we send it downstairs to Jenny Dell with Bill O'Brien.
Coach, what do you need to do to move the ball more consistently against Cincy's defense?
I don't know. We just have to regroup here at halftime. It's a lot of football left. Probably need to get some chunk plays down the field, things like that. But we're hanging in there.
What'll be your message to motivate them?
get it going. I mean, we got to drive the ball on offense. We got to continue to play good defense when it matters and play good on special teams.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Ian, back to you.
All right, Jenny, it's 9-3. Cincinnati on top of Houston. We'll come back. Verizon Halftime Report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the third quarter in Houston. Cincinnati 9, the Texans 3. We welcome you back to the broadcast booth. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. Jenny Dell down on the sidelines. Well, Cincinnati outplayed Houston in that first half, but you look up at the scoreboard, you're the Texans. You actually have to feel pretty encouraged by the fact it's only a 6-point game. The Cincinnati side of things, the mindset will be just keep doing what you're doing, just score more points.
Andy Dalton's had a fantastic first half, building on that performance he had last week. And as far as Ryan Mallett's concerned, trouble a couple times with some touch passes, but the Texans get the ball to start this second half, and this first drive of the second half will be huge for Mallett and the Texans. They need to get some running attack going as well in the first half.
A.J. Green, big numbers in that first half. He was targeted more often than anyone else on the Cincinnati offense. Mike Nugent will kick it off to Daniel Manning. Total yards, 214 for Cincinnati, 106 for Houston. Bengals electing to go for it on a 4th and goal from the 1. Didn't get in, but then on the next play, a safety as Blue couldn't take it out of the end zone for Houston. Manning, the return man, brought down just across the 20 as we sent it downstairs and bring in the third member of our crew, Jenny Dell.
I just spoke with head coach Marvin Lewis, and he told me that this defense needs to handle the surge of the offense from Houston. He also said Andy Dalton, he credited his quick pace of play, but said the running game needs to improve, and that was the message at the half, guys.
Yeah, Jenny, it was a combination of Hill and Bernard. Marvin Lewis, the second longest tenured coach in the NFL with the same team, Bill Belichick, 15 years with the Patriots. Lewis in his 12th year with Cincinnati. Mallett picked off. Maualuga read it, and Cincinnati forces the turnover against Houston.
Well, Maualuga says, Eureka! I have found it. He's from Eureka, California.
Thanks.
And with that catch, 5th career interception, a great way to start the second half for Cincinnati. Trying to squeeze the ball in there to Keyshawn Martin. And a horrible start for number 15.
It has been a rough day for young Ryan Mallett in his first home game as a starter. Cincinnati takes over 1st and 10 at the 22 of Houston. First turnover of the day. Hill gets the carry. Runs into a crowd inside the 20. 4.5-yard gain for Jeremy Hill, 2nd-round draft pick from LSU.
And good balance between both Hill and Bernard in that first half. Bernard had 7 carries. That makes it 8 carries now for Hill. Both averaging about 4 yards a carry.
Dime package here for Bill O'Brien's team with Swearinger and Roll. 2nd and 6 for the Bengals. Dalton on a give for Hill. They push the mile. Mark him down at the 16-yard line. Jadeveon Clowney, the number 1 overall pick out of South Carolina, leading that charge for Houston. Just good to see Clowney back on the field.
First time he's ever really had to go through the mental and physical part of rehabilitation. Had a lot of goals, obviously, when he was picked number 1 overall. Told us yesterday he has to reset those goals. And what a weapon he can be.
The injury, torn meniscus, playing in just his 4th game of the season. 3rd and 4 for the Bengals. Dalton throws. One-on-one, A.J. Green wins the matchup against Daryl Morris. And they'll move the chains. 11-yard pickup. The hands of Green on display.
And Dalton totally disregarding the coverage here of Morris, because Morris, playing with his back to the quarterback, does not react to this high ball thrown by Dalton to Green. 10 catches now for Green.
That is his 19th career 100-yard game. He passes Chris Collinsworth by himself now in 3rd. Jeremy Hill up the middle. 4-yard pickup for Hill. Kendrick Lewis helped save a touchdown.
Boy, and that interception thrown by Mallett to start the second half has taken all the life out of the stadium. In fact, there's a lot of fans that are still enjoying their halftime beverages. Amazing how many empty seats there are right now to start the second half.
And food, Dan. I believe there is food involved as well for the fans.
Well, a lot of barbecue, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot where we were.
Domata Peko is in the backfield in front of Jeremy Hill. Second and goal. Handed off. Hill nowhere to run. Peko trying to create some space. And Clowney sliding down low. It's a loss of 1 on the play.
And I think what Hill does here is he trying to get in behind Peko, but Peko is stuffed. Fagan right there. And you can see Clowney as well. Clowney, leg spread there, could have injured a knee right there, but didn't.
Third and goal from the 2. Peko in front of Hill. Hewitt, the motion man. On a give, Hill untouched, slashes through for the touchdown.
Now they sent Peko to the right side and Hill to the left side. Defense keying on the lead blocker, Peko, and that fooled the Texans. It's a walk-in touchdown for Hill. His 6th of his rookie season.
Well, it isn't the Ickey shuffle, but it'll do for Jeremy Hill. And this crowd has gone silent. Mike Nugent on for the extra point. Cincinnati 16, Houston 3. Ryan Mallett picked off by the veteran Ray Maualuga. And that set everything up for Cincinnati. Jeremy Hill does the rest. The Bengals in front early in the third. Houston now in a 13-point hole. 11:48 to go in the third quarter. Cincinnati will kick it off with Mike Nugent. Daniel Manning is the deep man for the Texans. Manning takes a knee. Houston will have it at the 20. Week 12 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Also, some of you will see the Jets and the Bills play on Monday night. That game will be played in Detroit due to the winter storms that hit western New York this week. Check your local listings. From the 20, Blue filling in for the injured Arian Foster. Gets stacked up after the gain of 1. Vincent Ray over there, and he's back on defense for Cincy.
It's been a learning process for Ryan Mallett today. And the touch pass is just a little bit too high. And that's a product of being just a little bit too excited. And that was just a poor read on the Maualuga interception. But the Texans' longest play so far today, just 14-yard completion to Andre Johnson.
Mallett, the 7th quarterback taken in that 2011 draft. Skies one over Andre Johnson once again. Terrence Newman with the tight coverage, and Johnson getting frustrated for Houston.
And Mallett's going to get frustrated too, because when he misses, he's missing high. That means he's got to just take a little bit off, and that's that touch part of the quarterback position. Too excited in his home debut, maybe.
And it has been a struggle for Mallett. No Garrett Graham. He has not been involved at all in the passing game for Houston. Graham had 2 catches, 34 yards, and a touchdown last week against Cleveland. Here's Mallett throwing, and it's caught by Graham. Bang down. Forward progress is just shy of the 30.
It's a good call, Coach Eagle. Finding the tight end. How about that catch, though? Reaching back and pulling it into his midsection. But a catch like that will give the quarterback confidence. You're going to see the chains move just a bit, but it's short of the first down.
Shane Leckler on once again. The dangerous Adam Jones waiting for the punt at the 20. Big move by Leckler. Jones takes it at the 11. Jones up the middle. Stood up at the 31. and then dropped at the 33-yard line by Blue. 58-yard punt, a 20-yard return. 16-3. Bengals lead it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. See Ellis. And by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at kbb.com.
It was pouring lightning, thunder throughout the day yesterday into the night, and then you wake up this morning. Sunshine in Houston. The roof opened for the first time this season at NRG Stadium, which opened back in 2002. First facility in the NFL with a retractable roof. Cincinnati's got a 16-3 lead over Houston. Dalton, play fake, throws, incomplete. Andy Dalton grew up about 40 minutes away. Attended Katy High School. 42 touchdown passes his senior year, leading the Tigers to the state championship game. They lost to South Lake Carroll. Dalton played a couple of times in this stadium as a high school quarterback, once his junior year and then again in his senior year. First touchdown pass he threw here at this stadium came to Logan Madden, his junior year, a 21-14 win over A&M Consolidated High School. Giovanni Bernard out across the 40-yard line. More on Dalton from Jenny Dell.
Ryan, Dalton hasn't had much success in this stadium in the pros. You just saw the high school footage. But today, obviously, a different story. He's 0-3 against the Texans. The last two losses coming back here in this very stadium, 2011, 2012, both of those playoff games. And he told me that he is ready for some home time redemption. That is what he's looking for. Guys, this is just one of 5 stadiums in the NFL that he doesn't have a win in.
Well, for Andy Dalton, Jenny, he said it was the longest 10 days that you could have ever imagined after that Thursday night performance against Cleveland. They got back to what they do and who they are in the win over New Orleans. A.J. Green with a catch. Jonathan Joseph the stop, 7-yard pickup.
Now, his confidence in his wide receivers today is just off the charts. Jonathan Joseph couldn't have been any closer to A.J. Green than he was on that slant route, and Dalton fired it in perfectly low and let Green use his body to keep Joseph away from the ball.
11 catches, 108 yards for A.J. Green. Cincinnati out near midfield. Lead at 16-3. To the ground game, Bernard takes it into Houston territory for a 2-yard pickup. A.J. Green, we asked him about Hugh Jackson. See what Green has done, nearly as many yards as the entire Houston offense. And he said that Jackson brings the attitude of a defensive coach, telling his players, we're going to hit them in the mouth.
Yeah, he's hitting them in the mouth with everything. Perfect balance today. But the big player, obviously, is A.J. Green. You don't hear about receivers hitting anybody in the mouth very often.
Brandon Tate now in there. They give it to Bernard. Brought down by J.J. Watt. A 1-yard pickup.
Watch it. J.J. turn the corner here. Tight end Hewitt trying to get him to the outside. Bodine coming around. He whiffs on the block of J.J. and he gets in on the tackle.
Watt is so light on his feet. He's a skater in that he played ice hockey as a kid until the age of 13, then made the decision to stick with football, but still loves to skate during the off-season.
He'd be a pretty good goalie. I think he'd fill up the entire net, wouldn't he?
I think he got it around him. 3rd and 7. Dalton gets rid of it. Intercepted. Picked off by Joseph. Joseph down the sideline. Joseph looking to go all the way. He does. Pick 6. Touchdown, Texans. 60 yards. The former Bengal.
Well, it was been bend but don't break defense for Romeo Crennel throughout the day. He brings pressure here, has the confidence in Joseph to play man-to-man on A.J. Green. Joseph reading the body language of Green. But look at this block by Swearinger right there. He picks off A.J. Green and gives Joseph a free lane to the end zone.
What a jolt for the Texans. And did they ever need it In a game where they could get nothing going on offense, they produce on the defensive side of the ball. An extra point away from cutting it to 6.
And it was really the first time that the Texans got any real serious pressure on Dalton. That caused the bad throw and caused the pick 6 for the Texans.
It is new life for Houston. Third interception for a touchdown this season. Jonathan Joseph, his first INT of the year. The Texans cut into the Cincinnati lead 16-10. Joseph is the 11th different Texan to register an interception. That's a franchise record for Houston. Bullock kicks it off to Adam Jones, returnable for Jones. Jones has got a lane. Chopped down just short of the 35 by Eddie Pleasant, 33-yard return. Go back to week 4. J.J. Watt engulfs that E.J. Manuel pass, takes it the distance, and then week number 9 against Philly, A.J. Boye picks off Nick Foles and returns it 51 yards for a touchdown. Put that on the highlight reel for the Houston D. Joseph stepping in front of A.J. Green. So the line of scrimmage is the 34. Jonathan Joseph spent his first 5 years in the NFL with the Bengals. Jeremy Hill picks up 3, hit by Merciless of Houston.
Well, it's going to be the blitz here by DJ Swearinger. Totally unblocked, and he's at the line of scrimmage the whole time. Dalton under pressure, throws behind A.J. Green. And then at the end of this, Swearinger is going to get the key block on Brandon Tate that gets Joseph to the end zone. That's 5 touchdowns on interceptions for Jonathan Joseph in his career. Former Bengal.
Houston continues to produce turnovers. Dalton throwing, knocked away. Darrell Morris against Mohamed Sanu.
Boy, what a difference these corners are making here in the second half. Morris, good break on it. Had his left arm on the receiver but did not turn him. So that's legal, and the ball knocked away with perfect timing by the second-year player Morris.
The crowd is now part of the equation here. 3rd and 7. Dalton gets rid of it. Offline, incomplete. James Wright, the rookie out of LSU, lost his footing. 3 and out for Cincinnati.
What a totally different passing attack for the Bengals here in the second half. Dalton, who was near perfect in the first half, struggling so far because of the pressure. Just 2 of 6 and a pick 6 to go with it.
Now the sun is affecting just a small corner of the field with the roof open here at NRG Stadium. Kevin Huber will punt it. Keyshawn Martin waiting for it at his own 14-yard line. Looking directly into the sun, fair catch called for. 46-yard punt. Ryan Mallett has an opportunity now if he can get things going on offense for Houston.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new way to Taco Bell is here, only in the app. And by Miller Lite. Back in its original look, it's Miller time.
Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by MetLife. Back here in Houston, Texans have it, a 1st and 10. Mallett will throw underneath. And again, that throw didn't have the proper touch. Blue handles it low, but would have had more yards if he didn't have to drop down to make the catch, a 4-yard pickup.
And that's what you're looking for, is to get a guy like Blue in open space so he can use his natural running ability after a catch, but almost a catch in self-defense.
Alfred Blue, 12 carries, 31 yards. He's got 2 catches for 15 yards. 2nd and 6 now for Houston. To the ground. Blue. There's the patience. Accelerates through that hole with a flag thrown. He's got a first down to the 30-yard line.
They're going to call a horse collar tackle here. You can see how Blue went down. Grabbed by the back of the jersey. And inside the shoulder pad.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So that's the 8 yards. Tack on the 15 after the Reggie Nelson tackle, which was
Foul
illegal.
was on number 20.
Well, you know, his hand was not inside the shoulder pad, though. It was right on the name Blue. Again, a defender. Tough call against the defense. Reggie Nelson that time.
Line of scrimmage is now the 45. Play fake. Mallett steps up. Darts one over the middle to Blue. Stays on his feet. 5-yard pickup to midfield. This is what the possessions have looked like for Houston throughout the day. Punt, safety, field goal, interception, and punt. Had the pick six, Joseph for a touchdown to cut the Cincinnati advantage to 6.
Been a long time since Andre Johnson has had the ball in his hands. Caught a pass in the first quarter and in the second quarter, but that's it. 14 yards for Andre Johnson on 2 catches.
Hopkins is the leading receiver with 4 catches covering 31 yards. Play action. Mallett dials up the deep ball. Off the hands of Hopkins, who has tremendous hands, but could not secure it. Incomplete.
Yeah, he's on a wheel route against Terrence Newman. Out and then up. Andre Johnson going to the post. That ball with a lot of heat on it. And even the big hands of Hopkins can't bring it in. It's literally a game of inches. If that is 3 inches lower, it hits him in the palm of his hands and he makes the catch.
Mallett has yet to crack 100 yards through the air. This time it is Hopkins with the catch and a first down. Brought down to the 42. It covers 8 yards. Terrence Newman getting the assignment for Cincinnati.
Boy, they needed that conversion on third down. 3 of 8 now. And Mallett with maybe his best throw of the day.
Move the chains. A 1st and 10 at the 42. Play action. Mallett has all day over the middle. It's complete to Johnson. Andre Johnson works his way to the 20. 22-yard hookup for Houston.
Tremendous pass protection for Mallett. Now he wants to press the issue here, get his team to the line of scrimmage, but excellent job of that offensive line pass blocking.
He sends Graham off the line, now in motion. 1st and 10 from the 20. Running play to Grimes. Grimes slowed down, keeps his footing. Works his way to the perimeter for an 8-yard pickup. Good block from Graham.
And a good move by Grimes to make the first tackler come up empty. It's a zone stretch play. A little stumble there, but then right there, Lemur can't make the tackle as he's getting blocked and going towards the ground.
Jonathan Grimes, undrafted free agent. 2nd and 2. Blue on a spin move. And he picks up 4 yards on the play. Leon Hall got twirled around.
And a smart run by Blue. He knew he just needed a couple yards for the first down and almost got the whole enchilada there going to the end zone.
9th play of the drive. It's 1st and goal. 16-10. Cincinnati leads it. 2:40 remaining in the 3rd. Knocked down. Mallett tried to pump on George Iloka. Iloka out of Sugar Land, Texas, Kentner High School.
And 6'4", one of the tallest safeties in the league. Swats it away with the left hand. And if he is fortunate enough to pick that one off, he might have taken it back all the way.
Second and goal for Houston. Give it to Blue. 2-yard pickup for Blue. Sets up 3rd and goal.
Really a nice job by Robert Gather setting the edge there that time. Dwayne Brown working on him. And Gather's not allowing Blue to get to the outside, and he closed the hole quickly after Blue decided to cut it up the field.
3rd and goal for the Texans. 11th play of the drive. Crimes will shift behind Mallett. Now sets up to his side. Mallett throws. Broken up. Andre Johnson, the intended target. Field goal unit is coming on for Houston in a 6-point game.
Last thing you want to do on a slant route is throw the ball high to your receiver or behind him. It's just too tough with all his momentum going to the middle of the field. Even Andre the Great can't make that catch with Newman hanging on his shoulders.
Short field goal attempt here for Randy Bullock. 25-yarder. Bullock nails it. It's a 3-point game with 1:48 to play. 3rd quarter, Cincinnati in front. Houston trailing Indianapolis by 1 game in the AFC South. The Colts are taking care of business against Jacksonville. Indianapolis is yet to lose in the division. Marvin Lewis's squad 6-3-1, percentage points ahead of Pittsburgh. Cleveland currently has the lead against Atlanta, and Baltimore will play New Orleans on Monday night. Randy Bullock kicking it off. Adam Jones going to take it out 9 yards deep in the end zone. Jones trying to circle the Texans, ready for him on special teams as he gets hit at the 16-yard line by Justin Tuggle. Tomorrow on CBS, there's a mole inside NCIS Los Angeles, and no one is safe. A can't miss new NCIS Los Angeles. That's tomorrow at 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Well, Andy Dalton coming back home. A pair of playoff losses here in Houston. Looked like everything was going in the right direction for Cincinnati, but that pick 6 has changed the momentum. And the Bengals clinging to a 3-point lead. We're late in the 3rd quarter. Giovanni Bernard falls forward for a 4-yard pickup, hit by Roll. NFL Today update, JB, Bart Scott.
Iron, Cleveland continuing to march.
Isaiah Crowell pressed the hole. Whoops! Look at this guy running strong, bending the corner, and stand on his feet. Watch him keep his balance here. His 7th touchdown of the year. Isaiah Crowell, 26 yards. Cleveland up 22-14 in Atlanta.
Back to Iron and Dan.
A Cleveland team that lost to Houston last week, 23-7. Looking to bounce back. Dalton throws. He's got Sanu. Mohamed Sanu, first down across the 30-yard line. 10 yards. Extending out for the grab.
Yeah, it's nice to have a receiver with long arms and strong hands. And that's what Sanu gives Dalton on this play. Dalton now just 3 of 7 here in the second half. But that's the type of play that will build his confidence. Throwing the ball to Sanu like that. A.J. Green telling us Sanu brings a different dynamic. He's so versatile, and everybody on the team felt that Sanu would step up in the absence of Green. Bernard tried to cut it upfield and limited to a gain of half a yard by Darryl Morris. A lot of these pieces are interchangeable for Houston. They'll roll in a number of different defensive backs. Linebackers will shift in and out. And obviously on that front line with J.J. Watt, they've got Clowney, they've got Merciless and Crick, Pickett. Time runs out here in the 3rd. Andy Dalton trying to lead his Bengals to an important road win. Houston's got other ideas. We'll go to the 4th. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the 4th quarter here in Houston. Cincinnati 16, the Texans 13. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Jenny Dell, the rest of our CBS crew, producer Mark Wolf, director Bob Fishman and company. It's a 2nd and 9 for the Bengals at their own 31-yard line. Dalton flags down. Dalton runs for the first down. And
brought down at the 42. 2 flags thrown on the play.
There are 2 fouls in the play. Holding, offense number 74. Holding, defense number 34. The penalty's offset. Second down.
Well, Marshall Newhouse holding on J.J. Watt, then A.J. Boye. But look at this move by Watt. Almost gets Dalton. And then in the secondary, I mean, defensive backs should know, once you pull a jersey, regardless of where you are on the field, they're going to throw the flag on you. Seen that twice already today and throughout the season.
Houston playing without veteran corner Kareem Jackson, out once again with a knee injury. 2nd and 9 for Cincinnati. Dalton, a flick to Gresham. Gets hit by Mike Muhammad. 3-yard gain for the tight end. And it brings up 3rd down for the Bengals.
Bengals have been good on 3rd downs so far today, 7 of 13. But it was that one failure on 4th down that may prove costly in a 3-point lead at this point.
You see what Dalton did on 3rd down earlier in the day. The last 2 produced the interception and the play that has turned this game around. Bengals were in control. It's now a 3rd and 6. Dalton looping out of trouble, throws for a 1st down. Gresham. It was not whistled down. Gresham was untouched. So he takes it into Houston territory. J.J. Watt had a beat on Dalton.
And Dalton looked like he did when he was back in high school, getting out of the pocket. But how about Daniel Manning not realizing that you got to touch Gresham down here? Gresham got about 3 extra yards all the way across midfield. Big play by Gresham.
Line of scrimmage is now the 47 of Houston. We're just underway in the 4th. On the ground, Bernard drilled by Cushing. No gain on the play.
That was a great tackle by Cushing. Almost total mirror of Bernard. Watch number 56 hit this hole here and then explode on the tackle along with Jared Crick down low. Textbook tackle.
Cushing was forced to wear a brace on that knee. Just wasn't comfortable with it. 2nd and 10. Dalton. Good play fake. A.J. Green has got a 1st down for Cincinnati. A dart from Dalton. 13 yards.
Daryl Morris challenging Green at the line of scrimmage, and Green just overpowers him with a little swim move of his own to get to the slant. Morris trying to force him to the outside, but Green with power on that route.
Most catches that Green has had in a game. 12 of them for A.J. Green. Romeo Crennel and the Houston defense. It's been a challenge dealing with Green. Sanu lines up next to Dalton. They give it to Sanu. So Sanu's a threat all over the field. He can throw the football as well, as we've seen. Brian Cushing combining with Brian Pickett to bring him down. It's a gain of 1.
And you start thinking about field goal range. Mike Nugent has hit 6 in a row. Long this year, just 49 yards. As long in his career, 55. It would be a 51-yarder right now.
His last miss came in overtime against Carolina with a chance to win it. 9th play of the drive. Dalton out of the pocket, on the move, and he will throw it away. James Wright in the vicinity. It's now 3rd and long for the Bengals.
And finally, the Texans decide to double A.J. Green on that side. Morris had him in the short zone. He had help over the top with a safety. When the guy catches 12 passes, you ought to be double teaming every down.
Now it's 3rd and 9. Here comes the rush out of the gun. Dalton lets it fly. Oh, Mohamed Sanu. extending for the catch and the first down. Tremendous play by Sanu.
Yeah, twice on this drive, he's done exactly that. Stretching out as far as he possibly can. The blitz coming against Dalton. He sets and fires. J.J. Watt, too late. Great catch by Sanu.
Keeps the drive alive. Fifth catch of the day for Sanu. He's got a touchdown. Giovanni Bernard, the fake. 5-yard pickup. Cushing got lost a bit defensively. Bernard, all 5'9" of him. Those elusive moves on the inside.
Tremendous move on the inside as he spun away from Cushing. Cushing looked like he might have had him right at the line of scrimmage.
That's video game stuff right there.
No kidding. That's bullfighting. Ole.
12th play of the drive. This is a 2nd and 5. Dalton gets rid of it. Up in the air. Knocked away. Daryl Morris. A.J. Green, the intended target.
I wouldn't strut too much about Daryl Morris, but I would be happy with my performance on this play. Forcing Green to the sideline and then locating the ball. That's been the difference for Morris. Not locating it earlier in the game. Ball slightly underthrown for A.J. Green. Did he reach back for his hamstring after that play?
He remains on the field, sets up in the slot. This is a 3rd and 5 for Cincinnati. They are inside the Houston 20. We approach 10 minutes to play in the 4th, and a timeout taken.
Charge timeout, Cincinnati.
Play clock was winding down. Bengals call the timeout. Thursday Night Football returns in 2 weeks. The Dallas Cowboys and the Chicago Bears. Two historic franchises meeting in primetime Thursday Night Football. It's back Thursday, December 4th, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. Quality drive by the Cincinnati offense to open up this 4th quarter. 3rd and 5 now. Line of scrimmage is the 18. 12 plays, 68 yards. The Bengals have covered. They've got a 3-point lead over Houston. They've used up nearly 7 minutes of the clock. 5 receiver set. A jump and a flag.
You get Clowney for jumping in the neutral
Neutral zone
zone.
infraction. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now, one thing we got to keep our eye on is A.J. Green. Watch after the knockaway by Morris. He's going to reach back for his right hamstring right there. He's still in the lineup. But after catching 12 balls for 123 yards, he may be just a little bit tired.
Dan, Terry McCauley called a first down automatically, but it may have been 3rd and 5.5.
Yeah, I think he's correcting it now. He's got 3 fingers up there.
It is not enough for a first down, so it's 3rd and short after the penalty against Clowney. 3rd and less than a yard for Cincinnati. Break the huddle with Bernard in the backfield. One-on-one, A.J. Green. Andy Dalton. He's got enough. First down.
Yeah, I think the success that Tom Brady has had over the years with the quarterback sneak has brought it back as a very viable play on short yardage, especially when it's less than a yard.
New set of downs for Cincinnati to work with. It's a pitch. Bernard waits. Bernard loses his helmet. And right at that moment, the play is over. No gain on the play. Whitney merciless with the stamp.
Mallett hoping that the Texans can hold the Bengals to just a field goal here. Getting a shot for his offense with a lot of time left.
15th play of the drive for Cincinnati. 2nd and 10. Jeremy Hill now in the backfield. We will hit the 9-minute mark of this fourth quarter. Play clock is down to 2. Working from the gun. Dalton sets, throws, end zone. Sanu can't secure it. Incomplete. Jamal Roll drawing Sanu one-on-one.
The ball just a little bit underthrown to Sanu, so he can't use his length. Has to reach back for it. Really good coverage by Roll as well. But even the second grab can't pull it in for Sanu.
Third down for the Bengals.
Charge timeout, Cincinnati, 30-second timeout.
And that is the second timeout called by Cincinnati. We got a lot of time left in a tight ball game. That could hurt them later.
Coming up tomorrow on CBS, are 2 broke girls ready for a business seminar? And is it ready for them? All new 2 Broke Girls, followed by The Big Bang Theory tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. So the Bengals have 1 timeout remaining. We've got 8:56 to play in the fourth. 16-13 Houston. Well, that's not actual size, I believe.
Looks to me like he's lost his head.
A little bit.
Hasn't had a sack today, an interception, or a fumble recovery. What's wrong with J.J. Watt? No touchdowns either for him. Don't count him out, though.
3rd and 10. Four receivers set. Dalton trying to get everybody on the same page here. Dalton lofts it. Incomplete. Gresham the intended target. And the field goal unit is coming on for Cincinnati.
And you wonder why the Bengals have gone away from A.J. Green on the last couple of pass attempts. One to Sanu that he couldn't haul in the end zone. That one thrown behind Gresham.
Mike Nugent, 31-yard attempt. 17 of 23 on the season, looking to extend the Bengals lead. Splits the uprights from 31 yards away. 19-13, Cincinnati, 8:48 remaining. We're in the fourth in Houston. That was an 8-minute drive for the Cincinnati Bengals. 17 plays, 71 yards. Nugent, the 31-yard field goal. It's 19-13, Cincinnati leading Houston. Daniel Manning has 1 kickoff return for a touchdown in his career back in 2008. The Texans are 28th in kickoff return yards, 21.5 average this season. Nugent bangs it through the back of the end zone. In fact, kicks it into the stands. Ryan Mallett, in his second NFL start, has got his team within 6.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network. Game of War. Play free now. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Houston's win over Cleveland last week was the Texans' first victory against a team over 500. You look at their schedule, rest of the way, they have the easiest remaining schedule based on winning percentage of any team in the NFL. So an opportunity here, trailing 19-13 to Cincinnati. Ryan Mallett takes over, guns it over the middle, incomplete. Ryan Griffin, the second-year tight end out of UConn, unable to haul it in.
It's been this way for Mallett most of the day, just inaccurate. This Ryan is down the field, open, ball thrown high and behind him, as so many of Mallett's passes have been today.
Now 14 of 26, 113 yards and a pick. Mallett sets the feet and throws. Jonathan Grimes brought down by Vincent Ray. 6 yards on the pickup. We hit 8.5 remaining in the fourth. Sets up a 3rd and 4 for Houston. No Arian Foster today. Foster missing back-to-back games with a groin injury. Mallett, deep ball. Caught by Hopkins. First down into Cincinnati territory. Terrence Newman and Reggie Nelson there. Hopkins,
incomplete.
That left foot did not land inbounds. Stepped on the white. 32 yards.
Bring it back.
Cincinnati has challenged the pass is incomplete. Timeout.
And it happened right in front of Marvin Lewis on the Cincinnati sideline. Great effort by Hopkins. Right foot in, left foot out. Incomplete.
After review, the second foot came down out of bounds, and it is an incomplete pass. Cincinnati's not charged with a timeout. Please set the game clock to 8 minutes, 9 seconds. It will be 4th and 4 on the 26-yard line. Cincinnati has won 2 challenges. They will get 1 more.
So the Texans finally taking a deep shot, but DeAndre Hopkins unable to stay inbounds. The call is reversed. That was on 3rd down. Houston will punt it with Shane Leckler. Pretty cut and dry for Terry McAulay and company.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear the right foot in, left foot out. Nice throw by Mallett, but just, again, leading the receiver out of bounds.
Adam Jones standing at his own 25-yard line. It's a short Leckler punt. Bounces up in the air. Houston will let it roll and touched at the 33-yard line. 42-yard punt. Thanksgiving Day, along with the turkey, the stuffing, the pumpkin pie. Enjoy the Bears and the Lions. A Motown throwdown. It all begins with JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer. Special holiday edition of the NFL Today at noon Eastern here on CBS Sports. NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. The Texans trailing the Bengals 19-13. Cincinnati had a long rivalry with the Houston Oilers that played 57 times through the years. Hand off to Jeremy Hill, and there's nothing there for Hill. J.J. Watt in on that stop. No gain on the play.
Well, Watt hasn't had any sacks today, but he's been solid against the running attack, getting inside of Newhouse. And again, Newhouse should have been called for holding as he tackles Watt, as Watt is tackling Hill.
Andy Dalton said Watt is so destructive. He can blow up a play in so many ways, and Dalton has firsthand knowledge of that. Second and 10 for the Bengals. 7:22 to go. Still just a 6-point game. Dalton being chased from behind by Merciless. He's caught. They'll get a gain of 1 on the play.
Well, Merciless has 4 sacks on the year. He's going to come about a yard short of picking up another one here, but look at his speed as he's going to dive out and bring down Dalton. Big play on 2nd down, sets up a very interesting 3rd down choice now defensively for Romeo Crennel. He's had a lot of success bringing the pressure on Dalton here in the second half. But when you do that, you expose your corners to man-to-man coverage. One of them being A.J. Green, has had a phenomenal day so far.
Twin receivers Sanu and Green to the right of Dalton. He throws it over the middle, incomplete, trying to hit Gresham. And a feeble 3 and out for the Cincinnati offense.
Yeah, and remember, Cincinnati on their last drive used 2 timeouts on offense. Again, just a 6-point game. Timeout so very valuable.
Kevin Huber will punt it. Keyshawn Martin, the return man, back at the 20. Not much of a rush. Sailing kick. Martin from the 13 slips down, gets up, hop step across the 15-yard line. 54-yard punt and a 4-yard return hit by Nico Johnson. J.J. Watt, he's got his eyes on you all the time.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own big hot pastrami melt at Subway.
Fourth quarter in Houston, 6:15 to play. Cincinnati 19, the Texans 13. Mallett off play action throws, tipped up in the air, incomplete. Leon Hall getting a piece of it. Andre Johnson, the intended receiver. Andy Dalton got off to the hot start. He's cooled off. Mallett is still looking for a rhythm here.
Yeah, he's just 6 of 14 here in the second half. But, you know, there's plenty of time left in this game for the Texans to start running the ball, too. Alfred Blue just 4 carries for 14 yards here in the second half.
Give it to Blue. Yeah, chipped down low by Reggie Nelson. It's a 2-yard pickup. We are under 6 minutes to play. 3rd and long for Houston.
Just 3 of 10 converting third downs this afternoon. You got to give a lot of credit to the defense of Paul Gunther, defensive coordinator for the Bengals, having a good day.
This is a 3rd and 8 for the Texans. Operating out of the gun. Mallett is sacked. First sack of the day for the Cincinnati D. Carlos Dunlap leading the charge for the Bengals in a big moment.
Well, they had the tight end over there, Garrett Graham. He releases, but Derek Newton allows Dunlap to go underneath as Mallett stepping up into the pocket.
Way to go, Bubba.
And Bubba made a tackle.
Just 14 sacks this season for the Cincinnati defense. That is the second lowest total in the NFL, Oakland with 12. Jones the return off the Leckler punt. Jones looking for blockers. Flag down. Jones tripped up as he comes up just short of midfield. 44-yard punt, 4-yard return. Mike Muhammad makes the play on special teams. Penalty marker down at the 44 on the near side.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 21. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Darquez Denard called on the penalty. Coming up next, Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins against Peyton Manning and the Broncos. Key AFC battle, or Washington faces San Francisco. Check your local listings. The NFL on CBS. Here's the playoff picture in the AFC. New England continues to roll. Denver humbled last week on the road in St. Louis. Cincinnati at 6-3-1. Indianapolis about to move to 7-4 on the season. Houston 1 game currently behind the Colts in the AFC South. Jeremy Hill up the middle. Under 5 minutes to play. It's a 3-yard pickup for the rookie out of LSU, Hill.
And now the questions for Bill O'Brien is, when do I use my timeouts? All depends on what they do on this down to set up a third down. But with 3 timeouts and 4.5 minutes to go, O'Brien's got to be starting to think about how he's going to use them.
Cincinnati over 100 yards rushing. It's 105. They've got 224 yards through the air. Keep it on the ground. Hill will pick up a yard on the play. Brought down by Ryan Pickett. And we approach 4 minutes to play here in Houston. It's a 3rd and 6 for Cincinnati.
And wholesale changes on defense for Romeo Crennel's group as they brought in 6 fresh bodies for this third down.
Critical third down on both ends. Dalton out of the gun. Pump, throw, wide open. Jeremy Hill with a cut upfield and a first down. Hill prides himself on his pass catching abilities and just made a major move for 9 yards and a chance to use more clock.
But A.J. Green is a wide receiver out to the left side of the screen. He's going to come on a slant route. And Mike Mohammed stopping on his coverage of Hill allows Hill to not only pick up the first down, but smartly stay in bounds, keep that clock rolling.
Jeremy Hill, we asked him about Bernard coming back. He said, doesn't matter if I get 10 carries, 20 carries, my approach is still the same. We're looking for a 1-2 punch. They've gotten it today from Hill and Bernard. This is Hill. Weaving through the traffic, Jeremy Hill. Stiff arm on Manning. And Hill brought down at the 25-yard line. 30 yards on the rip by Hill.
Well, he had a 62-yarder last week. Watch as he gets through the hole. The linebackers and safeties up close trying to keep him in the backfield. How about that block by Zeitler on the blitzing Kendrick Lewis?
And a timeout called by Houston. They've got 2 remaining. Jeremy Hill. We asked him about the adjustment to the pro game. He said the speed has not been the issue. The mental part has been the challenge. Watching film, learning how to be a pro in terms of your preparation. What a lift he's provided this Cincinnati offense.
And offensively, the Bengals have got to be thinking about field goal, because that would push the lead obviously to 9 and make it very difficult for the Texans. So ball security now and just taking time off the clock, making sure Houston has to use all their timeouts now with a first down for Cincinnati at the 25.
Houston has the 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. And a fresh set of downs for the Bengals to work with at the 25 of the Texans. Oh, Bernard gets crushed by Lewis. Timeout, Houston.
21 is Lewis. He got blocked the last time by Zeitler. This time he times his blitz perfectly. And Bernard smartly turns his body away from the tackle to protect the football.
Texans are down to 1 timeout. Remember, Giovanni Bernard got hit hard quite a bit before missing those games because of the hip and clavicle injuries.
And that type of tackle, he took it with the shoulder and the clavicle right there, but smartly covered up the ball and turned away from the hit from Lewis.
16 carries, 45 yards for Bernard. Also has 2 catches for 22 yards. Hill has 78 yards on the ground on 17 carries and a catch covering 9 yards. Hill is back in there. It's a toss to Hill. Jeremy Hill, good decision maker. Waited for the opening and took it upfield for a 9-yard pickup. Is Ryan Mallett going to get another opportunity with his team within striking distance? And Hill is limping off the field for the Bengals.
Well, he got into a big rugby type of scrum there. All his offensive linemen helping push him down the field. You never know what's going to happen with the legs, but look at the desire by Hill and then all his teammates getting in on the push. Cliff Bowling among others. Hill trying to shake it off on the sidelines. He's got some type of problem with his right leg or foot.
It is a 3rd and 6 for Cincinnati, and here's what's at stake here. They get a first down and stay in bounds, Dan. It's over.
Yep.
Houston will not be able to stop the clock. Handed off, Bernard. Slips through, Bernard a spin. Giovanni Bernard! He's got a first down, but a flag thrown at the 24.
Holding, offense number 89. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Brian Hewitt has done such a good job from the fullback position, blocking. Critical error here by Hewitt. Watch number 89 working against Cushing, and he hooks him with that left arm. What a great move, though, by Bernard right here. It's another spin move away from Crick. But that penalty now makes a possible field goal about 49 yards, and that's stretching the limit of Nugent. His longest this year is 49 yards.
If there's no penalty, the game was over. First down would have given Cincinnati the victory. Houston would not be able to stop the clock. Instead, the Bengals face a 3rd and 16. Sanu, the motion man. They press the line. They go conservative with Bernard. Brought down by Crick for no gain on the play. And we're going to roll it down to the 2-minute warning in Houston. A crucial AFC matchup. Two teams fighting for playoff position. The Bengals and the Texans. 2 minutes to play in a 6-point game. This is the NFL on CBS. Huge moment here for Mike Nugent, the kicker for Cincinnati. It is a 49-yard attempt to make this a 2-possession game. Clark Harris will snap it. The punter, Huber, will hold it. From 49 yards away, Nugent, the veteran, leans into it, and he's got it. Cincinnati in front, 22-13 with 1:55 to go.
It almost looked like this ball was going to hook left of the uprights, but at the last 20 yards or so, it straightened out. Perfect snap and a perfect hold, and you got to call it a perfect kick.
His last miss came against Carolina in overtime, where it looked like the Bengals were going to get a victory in OT. They had to settle for the tie. Bill O'Brien's team now down by 9. J.J. Watt, the Texans defense, coming alive in the second half. That 30-yard run by Jeremy Hill set the Bengals up. Once again, the rookie emerges for Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's had so many big moments in the last couple of weeks for the Bengals, and what a future that the Bengals have with their rushing attack. Hugh Jackson wants to emphasize that. It allows Andy Dalton more time in the pocket, better play action passing, but with Bernard healthy, and we'll have to see about Hill, who limped off in that last drive, but looking forward for Cincinnati. They're in pretty good shape if Hill's okay.
Houston is out of timeouts. Nugent kicks it off. Daniel Manning, the veteran, will not even get to touch it. Texans have it at the 20-yard line. The storylines here. Bengals, strong performance defensively. The other JJ, Jonathan Joseph, with the interception return for a touchdown. Big day for A.J. Green. 12 catches, 121 yards, and the Bengals are a minute 55 away from improving to 7-3-1.
And defensively, they've held the Texans to under 200 yards in total offense.
Mallett throws, nobody home, in the direction of Andre Johnson. Don't forget, coming up after the game, time permitting, NFL Today update presented by LGG3. JB and the gang back in New York for the latest scores and highlights around the NFL. Mallett fires. It's complete to Damaris Johnson for an 11-yard gain and a first down. We're down to a minute 40 and counting left in the fourth. Mallett throwing into a crowd, and Hopkins, the ball got dislodged, and a flag is thrown. With the hit, Reggie Nelson pleading his case.
Literally a bang-bang play as the ball arrives. So does Nelson. Nelson saying he did not target the helmet of Hopkins. He hit him with his shoulder as well. A real dangerous throw by Mallett. Oh, that's a good legal hit.
There's no foul for unnecessary roughness. Second down.
A good job of the officials getting together, and one guy sees it different than another, and it happens so quickly. Tough call for the officials. Smart to get together and figure it out, but that's a real smart legal hit by Reggie Nelson.
We saw it last week, Denver and St. Louis. Emmanuel Sanders, that play was considered a penalty, although there was no additional fine from the crowd, which leads you to believe that it should not have been a penalty. It looked like a legal hit last week. Mallett almost intercepted. It goes through the hands of Iloka. That would have had a hometown pick for the safety.
Yeah, well, that's maybe why he's playing safety. That went right between his hands. But it's been a real learning process for Ryan Mallett today. Struggling against this very aggressive, pressing type of coverage in the secondary of the Bengals throughout the afternoon.
The 10th starting quarterback in Texans history. Underneath, Johnson drops it. .117 to play. 22-13 Cincinnati. That run by Jeremy Hill. What a difference maker he has been for the Bengals. 87 yards and a touchdown for Hill on the ground. Now throwing to Garrett Graham. It is enough for a first down. Out to the 43-yard line, 12-yard pickup.
Yeah, how about the day for Andy Dalton coming back home and getting somewhat of a monkey off his back. Finally beating the Texans.
Mallett lofts it to Graham. Another catch for the tight end. Graham takes it to the 41-yard line.
Dalton 24 of 35 for 233. One touchdown pass to Sanu and one to Jonathan Joseph of the other team. But a real solid performance after a solid performance last week on the road in New Orleans.
We mentioned that he played in this stadium in high school. Also played here when he was with TCU. Well, this will be his first win as a pro in Houston. Mallett throws to the outside, caught by Graham. Out of bounds. Graham is padding his numbers. 5-yard pickup. Same for Mallett. Had the interception to open up the third quarter when Houston was only down by 6. That was a momentum shift.
That first play offensively for the Texans.
Mallett underneath to Grimes. Grimes slips through 2 tackles. Brought down to the 20. We're down to 24 seconds left. Mallett will spike it with 20 seconds on the clock. Well, for Houston, up next, it'll be a home game against Tennessee. Then they will be at Jacksonville. That's why this game was so important to move over the 500 mark with winnable games on the schedule. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, they will be at Tampa Bay, then home for Pittsburgh. Mallett connects with Grimes. Pushed out of bounds by Adam Jones. 15 seconds remaining in the fourth. So here's how things line up for these two teams in the weeks to come.
A big game at Indianapolis. Houston hopes to still be in the race at that point.
Mallett fires. Incomplete. Graham, the intended receiver. Reggie Nelson getting over there defensively. 10 seconds to play. Mallett throws. He was looking for Hopkins. It's incomplete. 6 seconds remaining on the clock.
Even this little bit of experience is good for Ryan Mallett. Taking his team down the field, trying to get a touchdown. It's not going to be enough, obviously, but it will pay dividends down the road for him. And boy, do the Texans ever need that man back in the lineup. Arian Foster out for his second week in a row. With a tricky groin injury. Tough on running backs to have that type of injury.
6 seconds left. Mallett throws too high. 2 seconds remaining. Johnson, Damaris Johnson, one of the targets there for Houston.
It looked like both of them were the target. It went over Andre Johnson and also over his running mate in the back of the end zone.
So final play here for the Texans. Mallett steps up, throws, and that'll do it. This up and down season for the Cincinnati Bengals. As the smoke clears here in Week 12, the Bengals are 7-3-1. Bengals win it 22-13 in Houston.